What's good, YouTube? Back with another one. Before we get into it, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. But let's get right into it. Now, according to reports, Toronto Dixon Blood high-ranking gang member Chunky was the victim of the Ever Road and West Mall shooting on March 7, 2024. According to reports, shortly after 8:30 p.m., an unknown number of suspects approached the victim when he was shot several times. He was rushed to hospital with life-threatening injuries, but unfortunately for Chunky, he did not survive. At the time of his death, he was 29 years old.
But I don't know if anyone actually saw that, but I was sitting down watching TV, and all of a sudden I heard like pop, 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 pop. And I was like, that's like really weird. Like that is definitely something that is happening. And I knew that I could distinguish between a gunshot and a firework. So I had like ran out of my balcony and I saw young men like kind of running.
Now, Chunky was no stranger when it comes to making headlines. In fact, when he was 20 years old, he was one of 7 men arrested in the shooting death of 22-year-old man at a Islington Avenue apartment building. According to the reports, Malcolm Morpho was gunned down on Tuesday, March 17, just 5 hours after the shooting of 21-year-old Hamid Syed. Syed was shot multiple times in a stairwell at 2063 Islington Avenue at around 3:15 p.m. Now, he was discovered wounded outside the apartment building and was taken to the hospital where he was released after being treated for his injuries. Now, hours later, just minutes after police cleared the scene, Mufaro was gunned down near the exit of a building door. Now, Mufaro later died in the hospital on March 19. Police said the shooting appeared to be retaliation. However, Mufaro had nothing to do with Syed's shooting. Now, I don't know how that turned out. I don't know if the family got the justice that they were seeking. But Chunky was back in the news once again when he was 22 years old. Now, this time he was the driver of an SUV involved in a shootout. According to police, 2 men arrived in a red SUV and parked in front 1811 Martin Grove Road. They talked to several people in the area. At about 6:07 p.m., the victim got out the SUV and was seen on video speaking to one of the suspects. The 2 men walked away from the group by themselves, armed and continued to talk. Now, this was all caught on video. At some point, the victim turned away from the suspect and appeared to retrieve something out of a handbag. At the same time, the suspect pulled out a handgun and both attempted to shoot each other. The victim was shot several times in the lower body area and fell to the ground. The suspect fled the scene. The SUV driver, who was later identified as Chunky, attended to the victim on the ground. The victim handed him what appeared to be a handgun with an extended magazine. Chunky took the handgun, put it inside the vehicle, helped the victim back inside the SUV. Chunky and the victim fled the area in an unknown direction. At around 6:25 p.m. that same day, police were called to an underground parking lot at 345 Dixon Road. Officers found a man who matched the description of the victim in the earlier shooting. Now, I'm not sure how much time he did for that case, but Chunky was caught up in another murder investigation when police raided an Oakville apartment looking for 2 murder suspects wanted in connection with the death of Abdul Qadir, who was shot while sitting in the front seat of his car at around 2:40 p.m. while outside an apartment building at 263 Dixon Road near Islington Avenue. Once officers arrived on the scene, they located Abdul Qadir with gunshot wounds. He was taken to hospital where he later died from his injuries. Though police said Chunky and the other men in the apartment had no role in the murder, they were arrested when police recovered 2 semi-automatic handguns, drugs, and roughly $27,000 worth of cash and a money counter in the raid. Now, police added that Chunky and the other men were not cooperating with police. Now, I'm not sure how much time he had to do for the guns and the drugs in that case, but Chunky made major headlines again back in 2020 when he was one of 5 men arrested and hit with 30 charges after a 14-year-old boy was violently abducted for his stepbrother's alleged involvement in a drug ripoff worth more than $4 million. Allegedly, back in 2019, the boy's brother ran off on the wrong people and they sent Chunky and some other guys to collect.
Police say the teen was taken to this remote farmhouse in Brampton, where he was held captive and restrained, before the suspects took the Jeep to an area near the Forks of the Credit Provincial Park, where they set it ablaze. We now know the teen was finally released about 20 kilometers west of the farmhouse, near Wanless Drive and Heritage Road in Brampton.
He went through a lot of terror.
Police say the investigation also led them to the seizure of a kilogram of cocaine, more than 70 pounds of marijuana, roughly $130,000 in cash, body armor, and cell phones.
Young man who had no reason to be abducted, just trying to walk to school and be put in such danger over a period of time.
The suspects, 37-year-old Scott McManus, 38-year-old Samir Abdelgadir, 25-year-old Liban Hussein, and 30-year-old Hamed Shanawaz, were arrested on Tuesday and face roughly 30 charges between them.
Kidnapping for ransom, forcible confinement, uttering threats of bodily harm, uttering threats of death.
Now, once again, I'm not sure what the verdict was with that kidnapping case, but unfortunately for Chunky, the street life either ends up two ways, in jail or dead. And unfortunately for him, on March 7, 2024, it caught up with him, and he was homicide number 13 in Toronto.
Yeah, we're still in touch with police, Jen, trying to get more information, but what we can tell you, that white vehicle was towed away from the scene just a few minutes ago, and we noticed several bullet holes on the side door of the car. So obviously the car is connected in some way to this shooting. We don't know where the victim was exactly, but I can tell you, we've been talking to a lot of residents who live in this area, in this condo complex. Many of them heard shots. They're telling me they heard several shots. They also saw a man outside of that vehicle. At the time, he looked as though he was without vital signs, and we know police say when they arrived, they found a victim with multiple gunshot wounds. He was rushed to hospital in critical condition, but he did not survive.
Y'all can let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you guys think about Dixon gang member Chunky getting executed? Y'all can let me know your thoughts, man. Y'all like this video? Y'all want more videos like this, man? Let me know in the comment section. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe button. You don't know.